I'm not the easiest guy in the world to get along with, so when our anniversary rolled around, I wanted my wife to know how much I appreciated her tolerating me for the past 20 years. I ordered flowers and told the florist to enclose a card that read, "Thanks for putting up with me so long." When my wife got the delivery, she called me at work. "Just where do you think you are going?" she asked. "What do you mean?" I said. She read the card aloud as the florist had written it. "Thanks for putting up with me so long." One night, a wife found her husband standing over their baby's crib. Silently, she watched him. As he stood looking down at the sleeping infant, she saw on his face a mixture of emotions: disbelief, doubt, delight, amazement, enchantment, even skepticism. Touched by this unusual display and the deep emotions it aroused, with eyes glistening, she slipped her arm around her husband. "A penny for your thoughts," she said. "It's amazing," he replied. "I just can't see how anybody can make a crib like that for only $67.50. A man and his wife are dining at a table in a plush restaurant, and the husband keeps staring at a drunken lady, swigging her drink as she sits alone at a nearby table. The wife asks, "Do you know her?" "Yes," sighs the husband. "She's my ex-girlfriend. I understand she took to drinking right after we split up 7 years ago, and I hear she hasn't been sober since." "My God," says the wife, "who would think a person could go on celebrating that long? A brunette, a redhead, and a blonde were in jail when they decided to break out. The girls broke out, and the brunette said, 'Let's hide in that barn. They'll never find us.' So they climbed up the ladder, and then the blonde threw it down. The next morning, the cops said, 'Come out with your hands in the air.' The redhead said, 'Hide in those baskets. They'll never find us.' So the brunette got in the first one, the redhead got in the second one, and the blonde got in the third one. Meanwhile, the cops were getting a ladder set up and trying to get up there. Once they got up, the sergeant ordered them to kick the baskets. So the cop kicked the first one. 'Rough!' 'It's just a damn dog,' yelled the cop. The cop kicked the next one. 'Mow!' 'It's just a damn cat,' yelled the cop. The cop kicked the next basket, and the blonde yelled, 'Potatoes!' There's a man trying to cross the street. As he steps off the curb, a car comes screaming around the corner and heads straight for him. The man walks faster, trying to hurry across the street, but the car changes lanes and is still coming at him. So the guy turns around to go back, but the car changes lanes again and is still coming at him. By now, the car is so close and the man so scared that he just freezes and stops in the middle of the road. The car gets real close, then swerves at the last possible moment and screeches to a halt right next to him. The driver rolls down the window. The driver is a squirrel. The squirrel says to the man, "See, it's not as easy as it looks, is it?" As the bus pulled away, a woman realized she had left her purse under the seat. Later, she called the company and was relieved to find out the driver had found it. When she went to pick it up, several off-duty bus drivers greeted her. One of the men handed over her handbag and a box. "We're required to inventory found wallets and purses," he explained. "I think you'll find everything here." As she started to put her belongings back into the purse, the man continued, "I hope you don't mind if we watch. Even though we all tried, none of us could fit everything into your purse, and we'd like to see just how you do it." The principal was inspecting the classroom and asked sternly, "Whose period is running right now?" Little Johnny, without missing a beat, stood up proudly and said, "It's my girlfriend's. She's been really cranky for the last couple of days." The principal, taken aback and starting to get annoyed, rubbed his temples and replied, "You fool! I'm asking about the subject period, not your girlfriend's mood swings." Two men sank into adjacent train seats after a long day in the city. One asked the other, "Your son gone back to college yet?" "2 days ago." Mine's a senior this year, so it's almost over." "In May, he'll be an engineer. What's your boy going to be when he gets out of college?" "At the rate he's going, I'd say he'll be about 30. "No, I mean, what's he taking in college?" He's taking every penny I make. Doesn't he burn the midnight oil enough? He doesn't get in early enough to burn the midnight oil. Well, has sending him to college done anything at all? Sure has. It's totally cured his mother of bragging about him. On the first day of spring training, a baseball scout brings a racehorse with him to add to the starting lineup. The coach asks, "What did you bring that horse here for?" The scout replies, "Wait until you see him bat." All the players are laughing until the horse comes to bat. At this point, the horse grabs the bat, and everyone quiets down. They stare at the horse. The pitcher just shrugs his shoulders and throws the ball toward home plate when, astonishingly, the horse hits the ball deep in the outfield. The horse just stands there and does not move. The manager then yells at the baseball scout to tell the horse to run to first base. The scout looks back at the manager and yells back, "If he could run, he'd be at Belmont." The coach had put together the perfect team for the Chicago Bears. The only thing that was missing was a good quarterback. He had scouted all the colleges and even the Canadian and European leagues, but he couldn't find a ringer who could ensure a Super Bowl win. Then one night, while watching CNN, he saw a war zone scene in the West Bank. In one corner of the background, he spotted a young Israeli soldier with a truly incredible arm. He threw a hand grenade straight into a 15th-story window 100 yards away. Kaboom! He threw another hand grenade 75 yards away, right into a chimney. Bluey! Then he threw another at a passing car going 90 miles per hour. Bullseye! "I've got to get this guy," Coach said to himself. "He has the perfect arm." So he brings him to the States and teaches him the great game of football, and the Bears go on to win the Super Bowl. The young man is hailed as the great hero of football, and when the coach asks him what he wants, all the young man wants is to call his mother. "Mom," he says into the phone, "I just won the Super Bowl." "I don't want to talk to you," the old woman says. "You are not my son." "I don't think you understand, Mother," the young man pleads. "I've won the greatest sporting event in the world. I'm here among thousands of my adoring fans." "No, let me tell you," his mother retorts. "At this very moment, there are gunshots all around us. The neighborhood is a pile of rubble. Your two brothers were beaten within an inch of their lives last week, and I have to keep your sister in the house so she doesn't get raped." The old lady pauses and then tearfully says, "I will never forgive you for making us move to Chicago." An English teacher was explaining the concept of gender association in the English language. He stated how hurricanes at one time were given feminine names and how ships and planes were usually referred to as she. One of the students raised their hand and asked, "What gender is a computer?" The teacher wasn't certain which it was, so he divided the class into two groups, males in one, females in the other, and asked them to decide if a computer should be masculine or feminine. Both groups were asked to give 4 reasons for their recommendation. The group of women concluded that computers should be referred to in the masculine gender because, in order to get their attention, you have to turn them on. They have a lot of data but are still clueless. They are supposed to help you solve your problems, but half the time, they are the problem. As soon as you commit to one, you realize that if you had waited a little longer, you could have had a better model. The men, on the other hand, decided that computers should definitely be referred to in the feminine gender because no one but their creator understands their internal logic. The native language they use to communicate with other computers is incomprehensible to everyone else. Even the smallest mistakes are stored in their long-term memory for later retrieval. As soon as you make a commitment to one, you find yourself spending half your paycheck on accessories for it.